The Maggid is the telling of the story, and it's where we get the word for Haggadah, the story. Haggadah and Maggid come from the same root. And what I'd like to do today is to share a few things that I've done in previous Seders, and also share a bit of Torah that you can be free to use. So one thing I've done is Mad Libs. You can find on the internet fairly easily a basic summary of what happens in the first few chapters of Exodus. And then you can just cross out when it uses Moses' name or an adjective or an adverb, and then just have people fill it in. And it's kind of a fun, interactive way to tell the story of Passover. Another thing I've done is to have people go around the table and each person says a sentence at a time, almost like a game of telephone. And you just kind of go around a few times. And eventually it usually does lose the thread of the Passover story. But what happens is people start telling their own story, and that has a place for it as well. What I'd like to share today is actually one of the most powerful teachings that I heard. I may have been in rabbinical school. I definitely heard this a long time ago. And it involves the moment when Moses had a major transformation of self-identity, namely when he went from being the prince of Egypt, to quote the movie, to being the Jewish shepherd. And that's, of course, when he came upon the Egyptian taskmaster beating a slave, and Moses takes it upon himself to kill the taskmaster, which, of course, is not condoned by any means by us. But he saw that there was an injustice, and he did something about it and really risked everything for himself. He was forced to run away afterwards. And not coincidentally, it's immediately when he runs away that he has the epiphany with God, or the theophany is a better word. A theophany is a personal encounter with God at the burning bush. And what it says to me, if I was kind of in sermon mode here, that we encounter God through righteous actions that we do ourselves. And this is what Moses did. What I want to focus on for a second is what the Torah tells us what was going through Moses' head just before he attacked the taskmaster. And that is, Moses looked this way and that way and saw that there was no one near, and then took action. And I think the very simple way of reading it is in the same way we might be speeding and kind of look around to see if there's a police officer nearby. Moses knew he was going to attack the taskmaster, the slaver, and was looking to make sure he wouldn't get caught. That's a very easy way of reading it. It's a very valid reading. But a reading that I like to kind of superimpose upon that, and this is the teaching that I heard, is it's not that Moses was looking this way and that way to make sure he wouldn't get in trouble. He was looking this way and that way to see if anybody was going to do the right thing and step in for this poor, helpless, enslaved Israelite. And when he saw that there was no one, there was literally no mensch. No, the word in the Torah is not mensch, it's ish, meaning person, but it could be translated as a person who does the right thing, which we call a mensch, right? When he saw that that wasn't happening, he became that person. And for me, that is the essence of Passover. When we talk about what it means to go from slavery to freedom, the freedom that we have is the responsibility that Moses took upon himself to help someone without the privilege, without the freedoms, and without the gifts that he had. And so when the Torah tells us dozens of times, do not oppress a stranger, for you were a stranger in the land of Egypt, that is what I think about.